Hi, my name is Haley Jackson, the College of Career Counselor at Dickinson High School. In this video, our goal is to show you how to register for the SAT for a Saturday test. We do offer some opportunities for grade levels to test on campus during a school day several times a year, depending on the grade level. So make sure that you check with your counselor, check with me before registering for the SAT because you may be able to take it for free during the school day without having to take it on a Saturday test. But if you do need to take it on a Saturday, that's what this video is going to guide you through, is how to register for a Saturday SAT. When you're on the Symbaloo page, I do have a link to the SAT on the College and Career Center page. The website is just sat.org, so you can just type that in and get to the same place we're going to go to through the College and Career Center page. But I want to make sure that you have the information that I have posted there. So when you go to the College and Career Center page, there is a testing tab. And we're going to focus on SAT right now, but I realize I do have the information for ACT as well as the link to ACT. Before you ever start, if you do qualify for one of these ways to get a fee waiver, make sure that you request a fee waiver from me. You can do that through email. You can also do that in person in the College and Career Center, but make sure you have that fee waiver before you register. Do not pay for the test and then ask for a fee waiver. The likelihood of getting reimbursed for your test is going to be low. So if you do have a fee waiver, make sure you have that before you start. So this link will also, again, take you to the same place that we were just a second ago, that sat.org. You do have to have a College Board account in order to register for the SAT. I do have one, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. If you don't, then you can say create account. Once you're logged in, you can see where it gives you several options where you can register. So register now, register for the SAT. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. It is going to ask me to verify myself again just to make sure I'm the right person. Okay. This is my SAT hub. So this is where your registration will be. This is where your scores will be. So you need to come back and see your scores, or you need to print your admission ticket again. This is that home page where you would do that. So I'm going to register for the SAT and go through the registration process. You definitely want to read through all the requirements here. It's going to ask me to take a survey several times, so I'm going to be closing this out continually through that process. You're welcome to take the survey if you would like, but I'm not going to do that right now. And so I'm going to hit continue. That's going to guide me to the next steps, the SAT. So just know anytime it's asking you for information, if it's required to complete, to be able to do the registration, it's going to have a red asterisk. So if it does not have a red asterisk, you do not have to answer the question. And it's going to ask you a lot of different information about yourself. So make sure every time I go, even though I've put this information in before, I have to put my current grade level. And just double check, make sure email is correct. It is where your information about your test is going to go. So make sure that you have that in the system right. Okay. All right, and again, if it has an asterisk, you have to answer it. If it doesn't, you do not. It's going to ask you all about lots of different things, just collecting data on you for College Board. Okay. Again, close that survey out. All right, student search service. That is so that colleges can contact you through the information you're providing to College Board. This is not going to have anything to do with your test score. So if you say yes to this and you start getting information from colleges, know that they're not seeing your SAT score. They're not asking you to apply because of that. They're asking you to apply because of the information you said you were interested about certain colleges or types of colleges through this registration process. So just be mindful that when you start getting information from colleges and you're thinking, how do they even know I exist? If you said yes to this question, that's how they know. Okay. You can answer the advanced placement, whether you're trying to take some AP exams and earn credit. Okay, I do have to put my GPA in right. Know that this is just for their information. So if you don't get it quite right, as far as like if you think it's an A but it's really an A plus, you know, it's not going to affect anything with your registration if you don't get this exactly right. But you do have to answer that question. Okay, you do not have to required to answer any of the information about what classes I'm currently taking. I'm going to click right through those. And activities as well. And this is just information they're collecting for colleges. If you said yes to that select to student services, then they would be able to kind of link you up with some colleges. Okay. Now that I'm done with that, I'm to my select the test center part. So this is where I'm actually registering for the SAT. So you are welcome to read through the terms and conditions. You are going to have to agree to those terms and conditions. And the next step will be to pick your testing date. So I'm, of course, taking it in the U.S. Know that there is a difference between an SAT and SAT subject test. Subject tests are required by some colleges. Typically, it's going to be private schools, Ivy League schools that might require a subject test or recommend a subject test be taken on top of taking the regular SAT. For most people, most registrations, it's just going to be that you're registering for a normal SAT, so make sure that you pick that option unless you know absolutely that you're planning on taking a subject test for a school. Okay, I'm going to pick my date. I'll just go ahead and pick this next date that's coming up in August. On this essay option, you need to know whether your college requires the essay for admissions. If they do, then you're going to want to make sure that you take it with the essay. You can look up the school to see if it requires it. So in this case, Baylor University does not require nor recommends it. So if that was the plan to go there, I'm going to look up one more just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at. So St. Houston neither requires nor recommends it either. It is a very unlikely one where they would require the essay, but please do not assume that they don't. Make sure you check before you say no to this question. When we give the SAT on a school day, we do not give it with the essay. So if you absolutely need it with the essay, then you are going to have to register for a Saturday test. Okay, I'm not taking you with any kind of accommodations. And in this place, if you did get a fee waiver, then you would say yes, and you would put in the fee waiver information that comes from the fee waiver you're being given, including the counselor's name, which would typically be my name there. Okay, in this case, I'm going to say no, I don't have a fee waiver. Student answer services, this is if you want to pay for that. If you're using a fee waiver, you do not have to pay for the service, but it's, do you want the answers to your SAT questions? So you can choose to study for the next SAT if you plan on taking it more than once. So if you want to pay for that service, or if you have a fee waiver, I would recommend if you have a fee waiver, go ahead and say yes to this question. But if you don't, then it's up to you whether you want to add on that service. And the next is picking your testing center. It is going to look at where your school is, and it's going to try and match you up with the school closest to you. So if you do have a school, it's your school, and they're offering it during that Saturday test, then you'll have the option to choose your school. If not, you can choose it based on your zip code and choose the school that's closest to you if there's no seats available at your campus. Okay, in this case, I'm going to say I want to take it at my school. Okay, and I'll be required to upload a photo. So you can download your Skyward photo if you want to use that. It is a portrait photo. It does meet the requirements as acceptable photos by SAT. So you may just want to use that one unless you have one that is saved on your computer or saved on your phone that you would like to use instead. If you need to save the photo from Skyward, then you would just right-click on the photo, hit Save Image, and then save it to your computer, save it to your desktop. And that way you could be able to use that below. Okay, on here I'd actually already uploaded a photo. I can choose to upload a new one, so I can show you what that looks like. Upload from my computer. And I'll pick that same photo again. Put it back in the frame. Make sure that it's meeting that requirement. There's not too much background. It's just my portrait. And hit Save Image. Okay, and you'll see the photos here, and it's acceptable for my admission ticket. So I can hit continue. Make sure your photo does match what you look like, so that when they look at your admission ticket and they look at your photo ID, that they don't have any questions. This next part is asking if you want practice materials. You can choose to order these things or not. They do come with a cost, even with a fee waiver. It's up to you whether you want any kind of study materials. There is great study material free through Khan Academy. And this Khan Academy's website actually can link to your College Board account and look at your PSAT score to give you some practice for the SAT. So that is free. So keep that in mind. This next screen is going to ask you to verify and make sure that all the information is correct for your admission ticket. You do have to print your admission ticket and take it with you to your Saturday SAT. So make sure that you have a way to print this. You're going to double check all the information, make sure your name is correct. This is very important. If you have two last names, make sure that you have two last names on whatever ID you plan on presenting. Make sure that the email address is correct, that where you chose to test is correct, as well as the date. You do have the option at this point to change some of that information if you needed to by clicking on these hyperlinks. Okay. At this point, it's going to ask me to submit my order. I am not going to register for the SEC, so I'm not going to go ahead and move past this point. At this point, you would either have zeroed out because you put in your fee waiver information, or you would be paying at this point, so you need to be putting in a credit card number. So at this point, I'm going to hit cancel. And just to show you what will happen if I go out of my registration and I need to come back to it, it is going to have my registration saved here. Just know that it doesn't necessarily save your seat. So if you come back, you may be asked to choose a different location if your seat for that particular testing center is taken. So in this case, also, if I did complete my registration and I paid and I was done, this is where I would see that I can print my admission ticket. There would be a tab here to print my admission ticket again. So if you needed to print it later, or if you needed to print it again because you lost it, then you would have that option here. Just know that whenever you're going to take your SAT, you need your admission ticket, a valid ID, state issued or school issued ID with your correct name on it. It cannot be a permit. It cannot be on paper. Cannot be anything temporary. So make sure that you bring a valid ID, your admission ticket, and then I highly recommend you bring your own calculator. The testing center does not have to provide a calculator for you. So make sure that you're bringing a calculator and maybe even some backup batteries or a backup calculator, because there are certain parts of the SAT that you are allowed to use a calculator. They do say that you can take it without a calculator, but obviously it's going to be a lot more efficient, a lot faster if you have a calculator available to you on those parts that you can use it on. Okay, so if you have any questions about the registration process, or if you need a fee waiver, please come and see me in the college in person or email me at hjackson@davidsonISD.org.